Don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our 2 newly released books, Football, A Love Story, and What Did Football Teach Me? These books feature over 100 stories from current and former coaches, players, executives, and entertainers from across the football landscape, describing what got them involved in the game, what they love about it, and what life lessons the game taught them. You can find your copy or order your copy from our website at footballgameplan.com/books. Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our preview of the 2015 New Era Pinstripe Bowl between the Duke Blue Devils and the Indiana Hoosiers. Now let's start this video off with some keys to victory for both teams, starting with Duke. Starting with the Duke Blue Devils in this ball game, I believe their perimeter defense has to excel. Even without Jeremy Cash, their outstanding All-American safety, they still have to find a way to make plays in space. If they can do that versus Indiana, they have a great chance in knocking off the Hoosiers. Also, keeping it guard to guard in the running game. I think they can get some movement up front versus this Hoosiers defense that gives up a lot on the ground, 4.9 yards a carry. In my opinion, that's where Duke has to win this ball game up front, keeping it inside within the running game. And you want to take advantage of their over-aggressiveness defensively by throwing the football in space to those running backs, getting the screen game involved, whether it be tunnel screens, slip screens, backs out in the flat. Try to take advantage of Indiana's over-aggressiveness to stop the run with your passing attack. And for the Hoosiers in this ball game, they just have to get off the field. Their offense can put up 40 points a game if they want to, but their defense also gives up 40 points a game, and it starts with them being able to get off the field. Their third down defense right now is at 45%. That can't happen versus a team like Duke that can chew up the clock with their ground game. You want to make Thomas Sirk beat you throwing the football. If they can stop Duke on the ground, winning on first down defensively, and make Thomas Sirk make plays consistently within the pocket throwing the football, I believe that's a win for Indiana. And Nate Sudfeld has to be on early in this contest. We know they have the athletes on the flanks that can win one-on-one matchups versus Duke. So you want to get the short passing game going, then work intermediate, then work deep down the field. If Nate Sudfeld is on, it'll be tough to stop this offense from moving the football. I still like Duke in this ball game. Even without their All-American pro prospect safety, Jeremy Cash, Duke is still a fundamentally sound defense, and they can get off the field. Two things you can't say about Indiana and their defense right now. They've been involved in a bunch of shootouts all season long, and I think they will have problems stopping Thomas Sirk and his Duke Blue Devil offense.
Looking at Duke, they're coached by David Cutcliffe, so you know you're going to get outstanding quarterback play, and that's why Thomas Sirk is my X factor for Duke and their offense. You look at what he's able to do. He's a guy that can make all the throws, but more importantly, when things break down, he can make the plays for you with his legs also. So anytime you have that dual threat type of quarterback, it's always something that teams have to game plan for. He's got over 600 yards rushing this year, so he's definitely a factor for them. As far as Indiana's concerned, my X factor for them is going to be Jordan Howard, the running back. 134 yards per game is what he's averaging, and he's somebody that's very powerful running back. They like to work him between the tackles, but they get that zone scheme going for him as well, and he could cut it back and break tackles, and he has breakaway speed too. So Jordan Howard is my X factor for Indiana. Watch him running behind Jason Spriggs. It's definitely a good thing to watch, a sight to behold. I think that Duke is going to lose this game. It's going to be hard for them to overcome the loss of Jeremy Cash, the All-American safety, and I have Indiana winning this game 17-14.
The Pinstripe Bowl pits two national powerhouses against each other on the hardwood. Indiana and Duke, who, quiet as kept, are two quality teams that have been building their rosters for a few years. On the offensive side of the ball, Indiana definitely shows out. Jason Spriggs, the offensive tackle, is probably a day 2 pick. Nate Sudfeld, the quarterback, has the prototype size. He needs to really show that he can be the man, as NFL scouts will look for a guy who's 6'6", 240. Michael Cooper, the tight end for Indiana. While not the huge numbers, he's a guy who fits the mold of a tight end on the next level and can play inline. On the offensive side of the ball for Duke, Matt Skura, the center. He makes things function on the offensive line. Braxton Devers, one of the two tight ends that may get some looks. While the targets aren't there in abundance, he still has that physical ability at 6'5", 240. And Max McCaffrey, wide receiver out of Duke, bigger body guy who's their leading receiver this year. He's 6'2", just under 200 pounds. On the defensive side of the ball, let's look at Zach Shaw for Indiana, an outside linebacker, as well as Dwayne Norman for Duke, who's an outside linebacker. So specialists that might get some looks both from Duke, Ross Martin, the kicker, one of the specialists that could go on day 3, and Will Munday, their punter. This particular matchup, while I do think Duke has a quality team, I think Indiana has played well in all their games this year and will win this one 38-31.